It's Merriam-Webster's Word of the Day for September 22nd. Today's word is mesmerize, spelled M-E-S-M-E-R-I-Z-E. Mesmerize is a verb. It means to hold the attention of someone entirely, to interest or amaze someone so much that nothing else is seen or noticed. The word is often used in the phrase to be mesmerized. Here's the word used in a sentence from Women's Health by Corinne Miller. Yep, Ruth Handler ended up naming two of her iconic dolls after her kids. The idea for Barbie and Ken stemmed from a family Europe trip in 1956. Barbara, then still a teenager, saw a doll that looked like an adult woman in a store window in Switzerland and was mesmerized. Experts can't agree on whether Franz Anton Mesmer, who lived from 1734 to 1815, was a quack or a genius. But all concede that the Swabian physician's name is the source of the word mesmerize. In his day, Mesmer was the toast of Paris, where he enjoyed the support of notables, including Queen Marie Antoinette. He treated patients with therapeutic procedures called, appropriately enough, mesmerism, involving what he claimed was a mysterious force termed animal magnetism. Many believe that mesmerism was what we now call hypnotism. Accordingly, the verb mesmerize was first used to mean to subject to mesmerism, before broadening to be synonymous with the word hypnotize, and later to mean to amaze or captivate. With your word of the day, I'm Peter Sokolowski.
Visit
It's Merriam-Webster's Word of the Day for September 21st. Today's word is regimen, spelled R-E-G-I-M-E-N. Regimen is a noun. Regimen refers to a plan or set of rules about something such as food or exercise, designed to make someone become or stay healthy. Here's the word used in a sentence from Fashionista.com by Janelle Sessoms. For those with natural hair, taking on a protective hairstyle is more than an expectation. It's a symbolic rite of passage. That said, tucking your hair into a protective style is not an excuse to completely disregard all hair care practices. If anything, it's the exact opposite. Establishing an effective hair care regimen is essential to maximizing and maintaining a protective style, so once it's removed, both the scalp and hair are healthy and happy. Being but humble lexicographers, we can't say whether an apple a day truly keeps the doctor away. But as far as regimens go, one could do a lot worse than snacking on a Macintosh. The word regimen, which usually refers to a system of rules or guidelines, often for living a healthy life or taking a regular dose of exercise, comes ultimately from a Latin verb regere, meaning to direct. Regere led, in apple pie order, to the English word regimen, first by way of the Latin noun regimen, meaning steering or control, and then via the medieval Latin regimen, referring to a set of rules. Other regere descendants fell further from the tree, including the words correct, erect, region, rule, and surge. Be sure not to confuse regimen with another of its kin, regiment, which refers to a military unit, as so doing could upset the apple cart. With your word of the day, I'm Peter Sokolowski.
Visit Merriam-Webster.com today for definitions, wordplay, and trending word lookups.
It's Merriam-Webster's Word of the Day for September 20th. Today's word is churlish, spelled C-H-U-R-L-I-S-H. Churlish is an adjective. It's a formal word that means irritable and rude. Here's the word used in a sentence from the Chicago Tribune by Nina Metz. Ted Lasso has gradually become more of a light drama than a comedy, but it's such a pleasant one that it seems churlish to even point this out. In that dramatic vein, the show's depiction of Nate is more compelling than I might have anticipated. The series has never been particularly interested in validating the man-child archetype, but it is interested in how insecurity can manifest itself into toxic behavior, and Nate is the epitome of that. In Old English, the word ceorl, spelled C-E-O-R-L, referred to a free peasant, someone who was neither part of the nobility nor enslaved or in debt. In Anglo-Saxon England, which lasted roughly from the 5th to the 11th centuries, ceorls had many rights that peasants of lower social status did not, and a few even rose to the rank of thane. However, as most ceorls were driven into the class of unfree villeins over the centuries, especially following the Norman conquest, the connotation of the word ceorl, spelled C-H-E-R-L in Middle English, and then finally with a U, diminished as well, eventually coming to mean a lowly peasant, and later a rude, ill-bred person. Similarly, churlish began in Old English as a simple descriptor of someone with the rank of ceorl, but today it describes a boorish person or their rude and insensitive behavior. With your word of the day, I'm Peter Sokolowski.
Visit Merriam-Webster.com today for definitions, wordplay, and trending word lookups.
It's Merriam-Webster's Word of the Day for September 15th. Today's word is demure, spelled D-E-M-U-R-E. Demure is an adjective. When describing something observed, such as clothing or an attitude, demure means not attracting or demanding a lot of attention, making it a synonym of reserved and modest. When used to describe a person, it's usually applied to a girl or woman. It typically means quiet and polite, but it can also describe someone who puts on a show of false modesty, making it a synonym of the word coy. Here's the word used in a sentence from Hello Magazine by Emmy Griffiths. After his wife's near fall, Harry protectively stopped for a second to make sure she was okay before they carried on walking to the ceremony. The former Suits actress, who looked elegant and demure in a blue maxi dress, laughed off the near mishap and carried on walking. In the nearly 700 years that the word demure has been in use, its meaning has only shifted slightly. While it began solely as a descriptive term for people of quiet modesty and sedate reserve, those who don't draw attention to themselves, whether because of a shy nature or determined self-control, it came to be applied also to those whose modesty and reservation is more affectation than sincere expression. While demure sounds French and entered the language at a time when the native tongue of England was borrowing many French words from the Normans, the etymological evidence requires that we exercise restraint. Its origin remains obscure. With your word of the day, I'm Peter Sokolowski.
Visit Merriam-Webster.com today for definitions, wordplay, and trending word lookups.
It's Merriam-Webster's Word of the Day for September 13th. Today's word is abstain, spelled A-B-S-T-A-I-N. Abstain is a verb. To abstain from something is to choose not to do or have that thing. Abstain can also mean specifically to choose not to vote. Here's the word used in a sentence from Publishers Weekly. In this impassioned plea to restore native ecosystems, landscape designer Reynolds, The Garden Awakening, sets out to recruit green warriors to build arks or acts of restorative kindness on their land. Those looking to turn their gardens into arks should overcome the shame of having a messy garden, abstain from using fungicides, pesticides, and herbicides, cut back on concrete usage in landscaping so as to let the earth breathe as much as possible, and plant native flora. If you abstain, you're consciously, and usually with effort, choosing to hold back from doing something that you would like to do. Lucky for you, we'd never abstain from sharing a good bit of word history. Abstain traces back through Middle English and Anglo-French to the Latin verb abstinere, which combines with the prefix ab, meaning from, away, or off, with tenere, a Latin verb meaning to hold. Spanish speakers might recognize tenere's influence in the Spanish verb tener, meaning to have, hold, or take. Tenere has many offspring in English. Other descendants include the words contain, detain, maintain, obtain, pertain, retain, and sustain, as well as some words that don't end in T-A-I-N, such as tenant and tenacious. Abstain, like many of its cousins, has been used by English speakers since at least the 14th century. With your word of the day, I'm Peter Sokolowski.
Visit Merriam-Webster.com today for definitions, wordplay, and trending word lookups.
It's Merriam-Webster's Word of the Day for September 24th. Today's word is lionize, spelled L-I-O-N-I-Z-E. Lionize is a verb. To lionize someone is to treat them as a person of great interest or importance. Here's the word used in a sentence from The Atlantic by Isaac Fitzgerald. What I love about this memoir, which won the National Book Award for Nonfiction in 2019, is its incredible sense of place. Sarah M. Broom's story is submerged in one of the most lionized and complex cities in America, New Orleans. More specifically, she focuses on New Orleans East and the yellow shotgun house that the author's steadfast mother, Ivory May, bought in 1961, and where Broom grew up as the youngest of 12 siblings. Across time and across cultures, as evidenced from Chauvet-Pont d'Arc's paintings to The Lion King, lions have captured people's imaginations. Though the big cats themselves are fascinatingly complex, it's perhaps no surprise that humans have long projected qualities of bravery and regality upon the proverbial king of the beasts. It is precisely those and similar admirable qualities that led in the 18th century to the word lion being used for a person who is similarly well regarded, especially after a long and distinguished career in a particular field, such as Lion of the Senate or literary lion. This sense of lion imbues the verb lionize, which first appeared in English in the early 1800s to apply to acts of treating someone as perhaps deserving of roaring applause. With your word of the day, I'm Peter Sokolowski.
Visit Merriam-Webster.com today for definitions, wordplay, and trending word lookups.
It's Merriam-Webster's Word of the Day for September 11th. Today's word is injunction, spelled I-N-J-U-N-C-T-I-O-N. Injunction is a noun. It refers to an order from a court of law that says something must be done or must not be done. Here's the word used in a sentence from Business Insider. While a district court rejected the group's request for an emergency injunction at the end of June, the Fifth Circuit obliged, blocking the new rule from being carried out for the time being. Injunction, what's your function? When it first joined the English language in the 1400s, the word injunction referred to an authoritative command, and in the following century it developed a legal second sense, applying specifically to a court order. Both of these meanings are still in use. Injunction ultimately comes from the Latin verb injungere, meaning to enjoin, that is, to issue an authoritative command or order, which in turn is based on jungere, meaning to join. It is joined as a jungere descendant by several words, including the words junction, conjunction, enjoin, and join. With your word of the day, I'm Peter Sokolowski.
Visit Merriam-Webster.com today for definitions, wordplay, and trending word lookups.
It's Merriam-Webster's Word of the Day for September 27th. Today's word is nepotism, spelled Nepotism. Nepotism is a noun. It refers to favoritism based on kinship, and especially to the unfair practice of giving jobs and other favors to relatives. Here's the word used in a sentence from Quartz by Gabriella Riccardi. Venture to a certain corner of the internet and you'll find an uncanny kind of social satire, that of the wishful work design. There's the made-up meeting punctuality score, which tells you who among your invitees is most likely to show up to the brainstorm 10 minutes late. Or the fictitious LinkedIn nepotism disclosure, which adds a label to tell you which manager is actually just related to the boss. We happen to have neither Merriam's nor Webster's on our staff at Merriam-Webster, and familial connections to the company's founders don't provide an advantage to job applicants. If it were otherwise, we might be accused of nepotism, that is, favoritism based on kinship, especially in professional contexts. English speakers have kept the word nepotism in the family since the late 1600s, having adopted it from the French, who were inspired by Gregorio Letti's 1667 book Il Nepotismo di Roma. The English title is The History of the Pope's Nephews. The book explores a practice introduced by Pope Sixtus IV. During his papacy in the late 15th century, he granted many special favors to members of his family, in particular to his nephews. This practice of papal favoritism was carried on by his near successors. Today, nepotism is mostly associated with business and politics. In recent informal English use, the shortened form nepo has been hitched to the denigrating term baby, to refer especially to celebrities who had a parent or two who were also in the entertainment industry. With your Word of the Day, I'm Peter Sokolowski.
Visit Merriam-Webster.com today for definitions, wordplay, and trending word lookups.
It's Merriam-Webster's Word of the Day for September 26th. Today's word is grok, spelled G-R-O-K. Grok is a verb. To grok something is to understand it, both profoundly and intuitively. Here's the word used in a sentence from Vulture by Chelsea G. Summers. The thing that marketing teams can't fully grok is that TikTok interest is organic, growing like a mushroom, sending out spores that germinate and thread through existing cultural ephemera. The word grok may be the only English word that derives from Martian. Yes, we do mean the language of the planet Mars. No, we're not getting spacey. We've just ventured into the realm of science fiction. Grok was introduced in Robert A. Heinlein's 1961 science fiction novel, Stranger in a Strange Land. The book's main character, Valentine Michael Smith, is a Martian-raised human who comes to Earth as an adult, bringing with him words from his native tongue and a unique perspective on the strange ways of Earthlings. Grok was quickly adopted by the youth culture of America and has since peppered the vernacular of those who grok it. With your Word of the Day, I'm Peter Sokolowski.
Visit Merriam-Webster.com today for definitions, wordplay, and trending word lookups.
It's Merriam-Webster's Word of the Day for September 12th. Today's word is fallible, spelled F-A-L-L-I-B-L-E. Fallible is an adjective. It means capable of making mistakes or being wrong. Here's the word used in a sentence from Forbes by Kevin Collins. AI is fallible. We see biased responses. This is because of how AI models are trained. In other words, it's because of the data. Skewed data will lead to skewed results and misrepresentations. Humanum est errare is a Latin expression that translates as to err is human. Of course, cynics might say that it's also human to deceive. The history of the word fallible simultaneously recognizes both of these character flaws. In modern usage, fallible refers to one's ability to make mistakes, but it descends from the Latin verb fallere, which means to deceive. Fallible has been used to describe the potential for error since at least the 15th century. Other descendants of fallere in English, all of which actually predate fallible, include fallacy. The earliest, now obsolete meaning was guile or trickery, fault, false, and even the word fail. With your word of the day, I'm Peter Sokolowski.
Visit Merriam-Webster.com today for definitions, wordplay, and trending word lookups.